Fanatics Fest 2025. It's in the books. It is done. It is over with. The weekend has passed. It was an amazing event, and I gotta say, it got better from last year. It still has some places to improve, though. Shall we begin?
Shall we begin?
ALM Gaming presents ArticulateRips, cards with class.
Let's begin now.
All right, Fanatics Fest 2025, brought to you by Fanatics, sponsored by a whole bunch of people related to the sports world, car collecting world, just entertainment in general. It was a wild weekend. I was there all 3 days, as I mentioned earlier in an earlier video. I was upgraded to a VIP package. Thank you, Fanatics, for that. And it was a spectacular time there. It started off for me at the pre-show, the pre-event that happened at David Adams Card Shop in New York City. It was a what was it? Maybe a 4 or 5 hour event that went down it was close to Herald Square, and yeah, amazing place. Great people that I met there, and they had giveaways. The atmosphere was great. They had drinks. You could actually, buy stuff on the site. They had sports memorabilia. It's an amazing store. I will definitely be in there most likely once a week or so. It's a great place to go. If you're just not getting into the hobby, there are knowledgeable people there. If you're looking to sell, if you have unopened wax to sell, if you have slabs that you want to sell, they are buying all of that stuff. So yeah, it's not sponsored obviously, but hey, David Adams it's a great place, and the new store in Manhattan in New York City, great place to go. So yeah, they had an event on Thursday. Cyril. So yeah, David Adams had an event on Thursday, the day before Fanatics Fest weekend got kicked off. I attended that. It was great. Ran into the evening. It was only for VIPs, so you had to show your ticket to get in there. You had to show your pass. But afterwards, the actual Fanatics Fest weekend got kicked off in earnest. I arrived there early on Friday. Was able to, bypass will call. I had my badge already mailed to me, so I just showed that, went in. Security was actually primo. If you didn't have anything that was crazy, then you basically walked right in. And yeah, the floors were set up much like how they were last year. The bottom level was the event and panel level. You had the theaters, you had the autograph lines, you had the photo op lines, things like that. So that was actually pretty cool that they maintained that kind of continuity. And on the upper level, I think it was the third level. I can't remember if it was called the third level. I believe it was. That was where you had all of the booths. You had CGC booths. You had David Adams had a booth. You had a PSA booth. You had a bunch of Fanatics themed booths dotted around the place, from their under wraps area to the collectibles to the sports book that they have. You had all the vendor booths in the back. People that like to collect and sell cards, they were set up towards the back area of that floor. You had things like the WWE experience, where you were able to make your own entrance. You had the NHL area, where you were able to see how you can shoot a hockey puck at a setup of a washer and dryer. Yeah, you had a food area where you could go and get refreshments. There was still the 40/40 club. And yeah, there was the NBA, there was the NFL. There were a bunch of a bunch of activities you could do around the area, and it was really great. Friday wasn't terribly jam-packed. I think a lot of people who had 3-day passes or who had like VIP passes, premium VIP passes. I think it's called premium or platinum VIP, whatever the other tier is. They were there all 3 days, but Friday was, I think, one of the calmer days. Sunday was also a calm day. Saturday was the day that I believe if you had a 1-day pass, you purchased it for Saturday. Saturday was jam-packed with people. The Jacob Javits Center was rumbling with individuals. So yeah, it was like that last year too. It's Saturday, people off of work. If you had the opportunity to go to this event, you pay for the 1-day ticket. It was like, I think around like $60, $70, something like that. You know, that's your opportunity. If there's one person you want to see, one person you want to have an autograph with, or a photo op with, something like that, then you buy that day ticket, you buy the photo op with the signature, and then you just go, and that's it. Now, depending on who you're getting, it might make more sense to go all 3 days because the prices were a bit exorbitant when it comes to certain signatures and certain photographs. But I mean, this is probably one of the better opportunities that you have in order to interact with a sports celebrity, athletes, wrestlers, talking heads in some cases. I think Kevin Costner had photo ops and signatures, which is, I mean, it's if you think about it from a purely entertainment standpoint, it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. It's Kevin Costner, but it's Kevin Costner. Feel the dreams. Like, come on, if you feel the dream, So, but in any case, Saturday was jam packed. Getting around it felt like you were operating in like a pack of sardines. It was crazy. And Sunday was pretty chill. Now, for me, my personal experience, Friday I had a signature with Mario Manningham. I may have mentioned earlier that I got his 1-of-1 Superfractor from Topps Chrome this past year. I got that signed by him, and that was a pretty cool interaction. He liked my glasses. I have flip-up shades. He liked my glasses, so that was cool. Yeah, so that was the thing that I had set aside for Friday. I was also able to meet Yankees catcher JC Escada, and that was actually pretty cool too. Pretty dope dude, very chill, very friendly. He was able to sign some baseballs for me. It was free. It was set up by CGC, and I'll get into that a little bit later. The one thing that I didn't get to do on Friday that I really wanted to do was go to the Juventus area. So as you know, I rep New York, I rep the Knicks, I rep the New York Giants, and I rep the New York Liberty. But I also pay attention to Serie A football, and I love Juventus. Juventus is in the World Cup tournament, I think. Now they just played like a couple days ago. They won like 4-1. Beautiful stuff. So they're going to do well. But Juventus FC, they sponsored Fanatics Fest last year. As a matter of fact, if you found out about it and you were able to pay for it, you could have met Giorgio Chiellini and Chiellini. That was an opportunity that I missed last year. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to hit the booth. I was too busy walking around and looking at a bunch of stuff. There was a lot to take in. Saturday, I had a photo op with Bianca Belair, which I didn't realize that she wasn't as tall as I thought she was. I thought she was way taller. I don't know if it was like television or something. I don't know, but I thought she was way taller. It was a shock, but absolutely amazing person. I know currently she's injured. She's dealing with a finger injury, and hopefully she'll be back pretty soon. But absolute sweetheart. It was a dream come true. Seeing and being able to meet and have a photo with one of the premier African American wrestlers, and her husband Montez Ford. Amazing athlete, amazing wrestler. He wasn't at the event, but yeah, no, those two are just cream of the crop. So it was great to be able to see her and to get a picture with her. And then also on Saturday, was it on Saturday? I want to say, was it on Saturday? Was it on Saturday? Saturday was the press conference, the presser for... Saturday was the presser. They had the presser for SummerSlam. And a bunch of wrestlers came out then. It was actually pretty cool. I was able to see Seth Rollins, John Cena, Jey Uso, Becky Lynch, Randy Orton came out, Tiffany Stratton. It was actually pretty decent. And Triple H came out and like capped off the whole thing. It was pretty decent. Yeah, and then Sunday I had 2 photo ops. I had one with Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. Been watching him since he was like a young pup, and now he's a staple in WWE. That's pretty cool. And I had another photo op with Trish Stratus, who I've been watching since I was a young pup. And you would be hard pressed to believe that she'd aged at all. She looks almost identical to what she looked like when I watched her in like the early 2000s. And again, another sweetheart. Absolutely adorable. Just another sweetheart. So big shout out to WWE for providing, your wrestlers for these photo ops and things like that. I was always a big wrestling fan, and being able to interact with them and to have photos with them, like, these are memories that are gonna last me forever. So I can't thank you guys enough for that. So yeah, that was also a thing. And Sunday was mostly for me walking around and taking in the rest of the show, being able to pick up some things that I did. It'll be a tradition for as long as Fanatics Fest goes on that I will do a wrestling intro every single time I attend. I did one last year, and this year was no different. So, Fanatics Fest 2025. Was it good or was it not good? Now, Fanatics Fest, it was great. It's a great experience. It's a great sports experience. It brings together people of, varying walks of life under the passion that they have for collecting, for sports. Of all things, you have F1, you have NASCAR. Was NASCAR there? I'm not sure. I know there was an F1 car, and there was definitely a NASCAR. There was a Fanatics NASCAR that was there, a Fanatics race car. But you have the NBA, you have the NFL, you have the NHL, you have the MLB, you have UFC, you have WWE. You have all of the big 3-lettered individuals that attended, that brought their particular je ne sais quoi to the show. And you can definitely interact with each of them in their own particular ways. And then obviously you have Fanatics bring event-specific things to the people that wanted to attend. Obviously you had the Topps Baseball Series 2 boxes that were Fanatics Fest exclusive with the Big Apple refractors and things like that. VIPs got Topps Series 2 boxes. They weren't the Fanatics Fest exclusive boxes, but they were the new Series 2 hobby boxes that were available. We're able to crack one of those. I actually pulled some good Mojo refractors from those. I think I pulled an Ellie De La Cruz and a couple other people. I pulled a Bobby Witt Jr. actually. So yeah. And obviously as you're there, you can interact with any of the booths that were there that if you wanted to buy some stuff from. Like I mentioned, David Adams was there, Steel City Collectibles was there. There were a bunch of other individuals, a bunch of other booths that you could definitely buy things from. And one thing that I really do appreciate about Fanatics Fest is that it catered to individuals in the hobby that are new, are fresh. There was a booth, there was an area, I think it was run by Topps themselves, that had an educational aspect to it. If you're new to the hobby and you don't know terminology that has to do with the hobby, if you don't know what wax is, if you don't know what a superfractor is, if you don't know what hits are, if you don't know the difference between a blaster and a mega box and a hobby box and a Breaker's Delight box, if you want to understand more about the hobby, if you're really that interested and you want to learn more, there was a whole booth set up just for that, with experts sitting there that could actually educate you on everything that you need to know for a hobby. And you could do that with Topps. You could also learn more about grading as well. I was at the CGC booth. That's where I met JC Escada, and got some merch authenticated by JSA. But you could also learn about what goes into grading. You can understand where those grades come from, why something may be graded as a Gem Mint 10 as opposed to a Pristine 10, as a 9 as opposed to a 10, things of that nature. What goes into the grading process, who it is that, not who grades your cards, but what they look for in order to determine what kind of grade your card gets. But understanding that better, it helps you, feel more informed, especially when you want to get your cards graded. There have been plenty of horror stories of people getting their cards graded. They don't understand, hey, why did my card come out this way? Like, why is it not a 10? Why did it grade a 7 or an 8? I know that there are plenty of cards that I've sent to grading that have graded lower than what I thought, but understanding the fact that, this is the reason here. This is what I should have looked for. Maybe this card wasn't meant to be graded, or I shouldn't have sent it in for grading. Maybe it's better off this way. And obviously there are multiple reasons as to why you get things graded. There's two trains of thought. Either you want to protect your card, make sure that it's, completely safe from the elements, from UV rays, from aging process, things like that, or you want to preserve it for selling. If you have a card that is extremely valuable, you want to preserve it for selling. And thus, if you get it slabbed, if you get it graded, there's very little chance that anything will happen to that card inside of that slab. So CGC, a big shout out to you guys for providing a lot of insight into how grading works. CGC, they also take care of other things other than cards. They take care of comic books. They help you get things authenticated. If you were at Fanatics Fest and you had something signed by an athlete or something like that, then you could have definitely gotten things authenticated through CGC, through JSA. It's a wonderful service, and it allows you to make sure that you're protecting your investment or protecting your memorabilia, your treasure. So yeah, that was a thing. And of course, like I said before, you had the booths in the back. There were rows and rows of individuals, people that were selling cards from the 80s, the 90s, people that were selling specific sports. There was a table that was dedicated completely to soccer. There were tables dedicated to Pokemon, to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tables dedicated to particular players or to particular types of cards. It was amazing. It was the sheer variety that you had was absolutely amazing. So in that aspect, Fanatics Fest was great. I can't think of another show, another event that has as much that you can do, that you can witness, that you can experience as Fanatics Fest. Now, with that being said, there are some things that can be improved for next year. And before I mention what those things are, I will say that last year's Fanatics Fest definitely made some improvements to this year's Fanatics Fest. Last year's Fanatics Fest, there was, still an absolutely great show, but there were a lot of, first year pains, a lot of people who were not really knowledgeable as to what was going on, security and things like that. Not a lot of people on site that could, particularly help you understand where you need to go for certain things, how to get around, that kind of thing. You were mostly on your own. This year that was fixed greatly. There were more knowledgeable individuals around. Now, were there still some instances where you didn't know where to go or what to do? Yes. But there are more knowledgeable people that could tell you, that could direct you, hey, if you're online for this, then, this is where you go. If you want to go to this show, then line up at this point in time. Like, there were more people that were able to direct you as to where you wanted to go if you wanted to get something done. Lines are still bad. The lines for the theater, lines for panels, for shows and stuff like that, downstairs, they're still bad. Still bad. Having been upgraded to a VIP, I was told through email by Fanatics Fest that VIPs have their own line, their own entrances, not entrances like entrance ways, but they have their own lines for those particular events, for panels and things of that nature. I particularly wanted to see two events. That was the New York versus the World event, where a lot of New York-centric athletes came to talk about what it's like to play in New York, to play for New York, interact with New York fans and so forth. You had, who was there? You had Russell Wilson, you had Malik Neighbors, you had Suni Lee, you had Allen Houston, you had there's somebody whose name I'm blanking on right now. It was another basketball player. But you definitely got the sense of a little bit of haphazard organization there. So that and the SummerSlam event. Now, it wasn't as bad getting into the New York versus everybody event. New York versus everybody was fine. I got in, I sat pretty close to the front, towards the right side of the stage. That was not bad. SummerSlam. If I had to guess, most of the sports enthusiasts that attended Fanatics Fest that were not specifically there for selling cards, buying cards, trading cards, things like that, were there for wrestling. Same thing last year. A lot of people came for wrestling. And the fact that they were having a SummerSlam panel or a SummerSlam presser event, people lined up for that line as soon as they could. Now, if you're telling me that there's a VIP section and there's no VIP demarcation, then I'm going to ask. When I did ask, I was told to line up with everybody else. So what was the point? What was the point of having a VIP denotation and getting, correspondence saying, hey, if you're a VIP, you can line up in certain spots, and then having someone say, hey, listen, you're a VIP, but you're going to line up with, general admission all the same. And you're all going to go in at the same time, and that's it. Now, the Premier VIP or the Premium VIP or the Platinum VIP, whatever this is called, they have seats cordoned off so that they could sit down in the front. So what happened to the VIPs then? Like, why is it that the VIPs don't have that same, that same connection? Because I was told, again, that VIPs would be able to do things in a manner that would allow that VIP-ness to shine through. Where did the VIP-ness shine through? In that aspect, it did not. That's plain and simple. Now, I was still able to enjoy the SummerSlam event, which was great, but that can be cleaned up. Just having a bit more organization when it comes to sectioning off ADA ticket holders, platinum VIP ticket holders, and general admission ticket holders. I think that is, paramount to being able to be successful. Now, with that being said, VIP ticket holders definitely had an easier go of it when it came to signatures and photo ops. As a VIP ticket holder, I was able to get to Mario Manningham, Trish Stratus, Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, I keep calling him Dirty Dom though, Dominic Mysterio, and Bianca Belair expeditiously. I was able to get to them quickly. I didn't have to worry about, the grouping and stuff like that, which is another big thing. Last year, when there were autographs and photography opportunities, everybody kind of went at one time, and the line was just crazy, just long, right? So this year, if you had a particular time to go for an autograph or for a photo op, I think this was mostly with the photo ops. They broke you up into groups. So let's say Charlotte Flair had a photo op for 2:00. If you paid for that photo op for Charlotte Flair at 2:00, then it's possible they could tell you to line up in Group A, which would be at 2:00, or to line up in Group B, which would be at 2:15, 2:50, or line up Group C, which would be at 3:10, 3:15. That way, there's no humongous line constantly growing for all the people that wanted to get a photo op with Charlotte Flair. Now, that kind of organization was definitely appreciated. I definitely appreciated that. And obviously, with the fact of having a VIP pass, I was able to bypass all of that anyway, so I was able to appreciate that as well. Having more knowledgeable individuals on the floor, definitely helpful. Definitely helpful. Now, not to say that there were no knowledgeable individuals on the floor, but there were certain times where I got some information that turned me around more than once.
Shall we begin?
Being told to, go back down the stairs and go to this place and not seeing what I need to see, and then asking somebody else that is where I am at, and then they tell me, hey, you got to go back upstairs and go across the Jacob Javits Center, and they go down the stairs and go up another set of stairs. It's like, okay. So either having a better built-out map, something that can say, you're here. If you want to get to this place, this is what you have to do. Or just having more dedicated people that can tell you where to go. One of the perks of being a VIP, I was supposed to have a VIP concierge. I never used the concierge. I'm more of a figure it out myself kind of guy. So it is what it is. But in any case, and yeah, one of the last things I'll say, having more places to sit, having more places to relax. Now, Jacob Javits Center is not a small area by any means. It's not small. But what I will notice from last year to this year, there were much fewer places. There were not as many places to sit. And especially if you wanted to do things content-wise for card collecting. Now, if you're tired, sure, you can go and find a seat on the base level and things like that. Now, those are few and far in between as well. You could definitely use more of that. But last year, there was a section towards the back of the show floor with all the booths and whatnot, where you can actually have tables set up that you can put cards on, sit down, break cards, things like that. Like, that was great. In the back area now, I mean, the booths, the actual display tables went all the way to the back. And then you had the bar, and then you basically circled right around back to the front. You could use more of those. As far as I know, I didn't see any of the tables that were there last year. You could use more of those. Definitely. If not just for a quick sit down, if you have somebody that wants to break something at that point in time, shoot some footage for their YouTube and things like that. I'm not just plugging it for myself, but definitely a lot of people go there in order to have that kind of experience. It's not just about seeing all the sights and meeting all the people. It's also about getting some good cards, getting some good memorabilia, getting some good hits. And if you want to have that at Fanatics Fest, then it would definitely serve you well to have those types of that type of apparatus set up for those types of individuals attending the event. So yeah, those are a couple of criticisms. I still think Fanatics Fest is an amazing event. It's one of the premier sports and entertainment events of the year, catered to people that love the hobby. The biggest one of the year, I believe. There's nothing that's going to trump it in that level. It's like a Comic-Con for card collectors. So most definitely, it still gets my. If I had to rate it, it's gonna get a 4 out of 5. And it's gonna have those growing pains, but I think that Michael Rubin, the head honcho at Fanatics, he is dedicated to making this like the best event it can be. I think that he's going to continue to work on it and continue to make it great. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, now Fanatics Fest is in the books. It was an amazing experience. It was a great experience for me, meeting all the people that I did, passing by the booths that I did, walking the floor, seeing all sorts of walks of life. It was great. It was great. The people that I met, everything. It was absolutely amazing. It was a wonderful weekend. Big shout out to Fanatics. Big shout out to everybody that I ran into there. And I'm looking forward to the next one. It might be the same time frame. Maybe it'll be in June as well. And if so, then we'll probably find out about it towards the end of this year, like we did last year. So yeah. And yeah, it was just a great experience. I'm gonna get some stuff to hang up some of these pictures with. I already cracked my complimentary box of Topps Series 2 baseball. That video was up as well if you want to take a look at it. And stay tuned for the next event that I'm gonna be at. I'm gonna try and get some rest. It was a long weekend, but I'm gonna try and rest up because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of videos that I want to continue to make, some stuff I want to continue to get to ripping and things like that for you guys. And yeah, there's definitely more things I want to talk about. There's more things that I want this channel to be about, not just me mindlessly opening cards and searching for hits, but I also want to help you guys better understand the hobby. I want to, add some transparency to certain things and, talk about grading, talk about valuing, talk about some of the more serious aspects of hobbying. So yeah, that stuff is going to be on the way, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Until then, this has been Articulate. This has been ArticulateRips, cards with class. I don't have a mustache, really. I keep this. I don't have a mustache, so I think it'll grow on me. Grow on me because of the mustache. Anyhow. Yeah. But anyhow, this has been ArticulateRips, cards with class. We'll see you guys in the next video. Until then.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.